Hello and welcome to SkaredCast. I am Skari, your grateful host, and this is a series where we're looking at the previews of the new Drukhari Dark Eldar Codex, and I'm very, very excited. Today, Warhammer community explained the Cabal hatred traits, essentially. So Cabals are your basic Dark Eldar force. They're an Archon, and they're like a gang slash military unit, etc. And today we saw a glimpse at 4 of their traits, which are pretty cool. So Cabal of the Black Heart is Vect's Cabal, essentially. They're going to treat all power from pain as 1 better than it is, so the turn is 1 higher. And it says, units with this obsession that do not have power from pain gain the injured to suffering bonus, or inured to suffering, or something like that. So there's probably an additional sort of bonus that things like incubi and things like that will be able to get, or maybe even grotesque, so who knows. But that's pretty cool. They previewed Screaming Jets, which allows you to deploy a Drukhari vehicle from your army that can fly in Deep Strike Reserve. So that could be a Raider full of troops, that could be a Venom, that could be a Razorwing, a Void Raven Bomber. You could literally put them in reserve for 1 command point. It's called Screaming Jets. Oh, I'm so excited. Can you tell? I play Dark Eldar. I've been playing them for years. I'm the original Dark Eldar. Just saying. I'm an original gangster. Labyrinthine Cunning is a warlord trait for the Cabal of the Black Heart. Basically, it's a command point 1. Roll a d6 every time your opponent spends a command point, and you get a command point back with a roll of a 6, which means they get like a little command point fun. Then we have Cabal of the Poisoned Tongue. Reroll wounds of 1 made for melee weapons and for poison weapons. That is really cool. That means you get to reroll 1s to wound with all your poison weapons. That's awesome. That means that wounding on a 4+, rerolling 1s, you know, it does come into play quite a lot, which is really neat. And then they brought back Splinter Racks. They work a little differently though, but a Splinter Rack, every time a model that's embarked shoots a Splinter Pistol Rifle, you score a 6+ to hit with that weapon. It scores 2 hits instead of 1. It's kind of like a Tesla ability, which is pretty cool. Tesla, so you deep strike that Raider with Screaming Jets full of Cabalite warriors, rapid fire into something and get a lot more hits. Combine that with something like Doom from the Eldar, and all of a sudden you've got some pretty cool stuff that you can do. Soul Seeker is a Poison Tongue relic. It's like a pistol. You don't get cover saving throws against it. Then we've got the Cabal of the Flayed Skull, probably one of my favorites. You add 3 inches to the move characteristic of all models that can fly with this obsession, which is pretty cool. And in addition, enemy units do not receive the benefit for their saving throw for being in cover against units that fly, or that are embarked upon a transport that can fly. And then you can reroll rolls of 1 for such models when attacking with rapid-fire weapons. So the Cabal of the Flayed Skull, just from looking at it, means that your Raiders will move 3 inches further, unless Raiders don't get the extra move, but they seem to insinuate that the Flyers can. You get to reroll 1s when shooting, with rapid-fire weapons, and your enemy won't get cover saves. That can really come in handy, which is really cool. And then Masters of the Shadowed Sky. Whenever you shoot with a Flayed Skull unit, until the end of the phase, add 1 to hit rolls made for this unit's attacks. The target units that can fly, so you can shoot against stuff that flies. That's pretty cool. Big news. Blasters are now D6 damage instead of D3 damage. That's crazy. They're just as powerful as a lance. They're just shorter range. That's awesome. My Blasterborn are super excited about that. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait. Last but not least, the Cabal of the Obsidian Rose. All assault, rapid fire, and heavy weapons increased by 6 inches. So if tanks get obsessions, then that would mean your Ravagers could shoot 42 inches with their lances, which is pretty cool, but I don't know why you wouldn't just get +1 to hit and stuff and ignore cover. I think that would be better. And then they have a failure is not an option stratagem. Basically, if your unit's going to fail a morale test, before you remove the models, the models that are going to get removed from morale get to shoot. If any enemy models are killed, then they don't run away. So that's pretty cool. That's actually really neat. So you could have like a blaster guy run away, and if he kills something before he runs, then nobody runs away. So if you're running like big blobs of infantry, like a big 20-man unit of Cabalite warriors, then that seems like it would be a good way to go. And that's just for one command point, which is pretty neat. And then we have the Armor of Misery, Obsidian Rose, Archon, 3+ save, and subtract 1 to hit against the hits in the fight phase. So all in all, what we've seen here, we see 4 different obsessions, which is kind of cool that they're called obsessions, very Dark Eldari. And that's just for the Cabals. Then we still have the Covens, which are the homunculi, and we still have the witch cults. So stay tuned as we look at every single thing. But just from my analysis, I think that I'm going to like the Flayed Skull the best. It helps flied units move faster, and it helps, you can essentially, you get no benefits from cover, and you reroll hits of 1 when attacking with rapid-fire weapons, which is really cool if you're running a bunch of raiders filled with Cabalite warriors. Well, let me know what you think down below. If you're an original Dark Eldar player that'd like to see more, leave a comment,